All right. Well, Carmen, why don't you come up here while we do this?
She's got more breath inside of her than I have in my whole body.
All right. Why don't you close your eyes if it feels right for you and join in. A deep breath or two. One more. And a third one. We need one more.
3 is the magic number. That's
Pardon
the
me.
master number. Let's do it.
Okay, a couple deep breaths. Lovely. Thank you.
And now that we've got that we're going to put a few consonants to it, and then it's going to make this whole beautiful talk today.
All righty. Thank you. So let's begin. I'm in the Om still. But let's start with a spiritual mind treatment. So please join me. I always put my hands open on my lap. It just seems right. But for you, whatever works for you. This day is truly blessed. It is a day that we woke up to this beautiful planet. It's a day that we woke up to our loved ones. It's a day that we wake up to our spiritual truth. And I know right here and right now that there is a power for good in the universe that I choose to call God or universal spirit or any other name we choose to use. The name's not important. The reality is important. And I know that this power works for each of us, responding to our thoughts, to our words. And so as we think the thoughts of health and prosperity and peace, then something responds to us. And if you think that just one small voice doesn't make a difference, it does. Just as a pebble in a pond creates expanding rings in that pond, so each voice for peace, for love, for prosperity, for wellness is a ripple that expands and surrounds us and our world. And how much further out into the universe, only God knows. So I declare today that each of us are that pebble in the pond of peace and well-being. For that is what we are here to be. With loving thanks, I release these words, knowing it to be so, and so it is. So, the ohm of voice requires moisture. And I have to tell you about this talk, and I hadn't been planning to speak this week, but our planned speaker had a problem and had to cancel. And it was quite convenient in a way, because after last week's talk, I got an email from one of our people who can't necessarily be here today, but she said, "How do I find out who I am?" And so I responded to her email and suggested the normal things. Well, depending on how you choose, you can journal about it, you can ask it in prayer or meditate on it. There's lots of... That seems a little too loud to me. That better? Yes. That better or worse? Okay, great. Anyway, that got me thinking, and here I am with a chance to try to answer that question more fully. There. So you want to know, anybody else want to know who they are? Yeah. Well, Sarah Van Brethnack said, the authentic self is the soul made visible. And it was Oscar Wilde who said, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. You like that one? It got me too. Anyway, trying to define what we are, you take away the visible, the body, you take away even the brain, and what is left is consciousness. And what is consciousness? Well, that's what Raymond Charles Barker says we are. He says, your true purpose is you as consciousness. And he goes on, intuitively directed by endless streams of consciousness, stuff like that. But in reality, he's saying, you are consciousness. Bereft of body and brain and hair and lipstick and whatever, what's left, if you take away the visible, is who you truly are, is consciousness. That makes some sense? Then I want to get into a question I was asked when I did my interview panel when I became a minister. And one of the people on the panel said, what is consciousness? And I had read the glossary of the science of mind, so I responded with, well, my consciousness is everything I have ever thought or felt or experienced up to this point. So that was my consciousness. And then we get into something called race consciousness. And race consciousness is something that we're born with. And then we add to it everything that we know or feel or experience. And that becomes our consciousness. And depending on our circumstances, that consciousness, if you poured it into a vase full of clear water, what color would yours be? Your sum total of everything you felt or experienced, plus all the race consciousness you brought in with you. Would it be sparkling clear, or would it be a little bit muddy? And this brought up for me a talk that Reverend Valentine and I once did together, where we brought in a vase of crystal clear water and put a drop of coloring in it for every negative thought we might have ever experienced. And unfortunately, it wound up looking quite pretty. It should have been looking muddy. We should have brought mud in. But if we interpret that as that every negative thought or feeling we've ever had has made our consciousness a little bit murky, and add race consciousness to that, we've got a mess. And then the closing part of that demonstration, of course, we used affirmations of good, of health, of well-being, of love, of joy, and put in a drop of bleach at a time. So gradually our consciousness, the water representing our consciousness, became clear. So this is what it really got down to, that I really wanted to end up talking about, is that whatever we have thought or experienced in the past, no matter how painful or dark or grievous, sad, whatever, that our thoughts and our words and the way we live can change that to where we've got this pure vessel of sparkling clarity instead of a bowl of mucky stuff. And that is what our teaching in the science of mind is all about. Change your thinking, change your life. Change how you present yourself to the world, change how the world responds to you. That's really what it's all about. And I want to get back at some of these quotations are pretty cool. Ramana Maharshi said, "Who am I? Not the body, because it is decaying. Not the mind, because that brain will decay with the body. Not the personality, nor the emotions, for these also will vanish. What's left? Consciousness." And Eckhart Tolle said, "You find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level." And to me, that meant at the level of consciousness. Consciousness isn't a beautiful face. It's not a 20-year-old body. Consciousness is who we truly are, separated from the visible, separated from the physical. So who are you as consciousness is what the question needs to be. And if you don't like what you see, you don't have to live with it. You get to change it. So that's the good news. I want to tell you what the dictionary says about consciousness. The state of being awake and aware. And an example, she failed to regain consciousness and died 2 days later. So without consciousness, well, that is putting out in the outer realm again, sort of, because the consciousness continues. Death doesn't stop it. So consciousness means something like awareness. And again, I'll go back to my definition. The Centers for Spiritual Living concept of consciousness would be something like what I responded to my panel with. Our consciousness, whatever we brought into life with us, which will be a smorgasbord of our personal heredity and the race consciousness of since time began. The beliefs in illness, the belief in poverty, the belief in being less than. How many of you were totally confident when you were growing up that you were just fine, thank you, that you fit in, that you were fine right where you were all the time? I don't see a single hand going up, including mine. It took me coming here 33 years ago to finally start getting it, that who I am is okay, that everybody else is already taken, right? But to not feel the need to try to be like someone, well, she's the popular one, maybe I can try to be more like her. Hey, wouldn't work, would it? I'm not that person. I need to be the best self that I can be, and to be that, I need to be willing to change. Oh, ugly word. I have to be willing to express not what I think the world needs to hear, but what I truly am and what I have to express. None of you want to express yourself in exactly the way Reverend Judy or Reverend Trust do. You need to express your truth and your holiness the way you are, because nothing else will fit. And if you get rid of all of the accumulated garbage and get back to the purity, the essence, the consciousness of who you came here to be, you can resurrect that and get rid of all the rest. Have you ever picked up a piece of metal that maybe has a lot of rust or other stuff on it and shined it up like silver polish, like taking silver that has tarnished and cleaned it up? What a difference. You can do that for yourself. I don't care if you call it tuning or polishing or refining. You know what gold goes through to become pure and brilliant? It has to be refined. A process of refinement through heat, maybe some chemicals. I don't know a lot about that, but I know that it has to be refined to get rid of the impurities. The impurities, those drops of muck in our vase full of sparkling water. We need to refine, first of all, who we think we are, and get back to the I am that we truly are. The I am came out in the meditation this morning. The I am that spoke to Moses in the burning bush. And I'll repeat this, you weren't all in the meditation, I'm sure. But when Moses was in the desert and was spoken to by a voice out of a burning bush that was telling him he had to go to the Pharaoh and tell him, set my people free. Tell him, you must release these captive people. And Moses apparently was not all that smooth a talker. He had no confidence in his ability to convince anybody of anything. And he was like, what do you think that I can tell the Pharaoh to do this? But the voice just kept saying, go to the Pharaoh, tell him this. And Moses finally gave in and he said, who shall I say sent me? And the voice said, tell them I am sent you. So that is the I am. So for Moses, that was the voice of God out of the burning bush. So whenever I think about those words, the I am, my Salvation Army educated mind says, I am is God. I am is the voice from the burning bush. I am is the voice from within. I am means there's no limit to who I can be or what I can do. I am is the source of all good, the source of health and prosperity, even wealth, if that's what we desire. The I am, precious beyond measure. You know, when the Bible historians say that what they quote Jesus as saying is very likely, quite literally, what he said. In other words, the stuff in the red print in the New Testament. But when he said, suffer the little children to come unto me, he didn't really just mean children. He meant everyone who had a problem, who was sick, who was an invalid, whatever. He called everyone to know their own perfection and to open themselves to healing. He said, it is not it is not me, but the Father within that doeth the work. And guess what? The Father or God wasn't restricted to being in that one individual. That same power is in each of us. But we have to call on it and believe in it and accept the healing. Accept the financial well-being that we require. Maybe the emotional partner that we desire. And one of our writers says there's nothing too small to ask it in prayer, to speak your word for, so long as it benefits you and harms no one, that it doesn't take away from anyone else. Then there's nothing selfish about it. So if it's just that you want your hair to grow back thicker, or that you want to have a new car in your driveway, nothing wrong with imaging that and praying about it. Absolutely nothing wrong. It's a different take than what I was brought up to for many years in the Salvation Army and then in the Mormon church. You didn't pray for stuff for yourself, right? But what an eye-opening thing it is to know that what you require and what you desire can be yours by right of, what's the word? Consciousness. You've got to train your consciousness to know that you're worthy of it, even if it's that fancy car, even if it's diamond earrings. If you truly desire it, why not? Your having diamond earrings isn't going to hurt anybody. In fact, it's probably going to bless a bunch of people that earn their living by mining diamonds or creating the jewelry or selling the jewelry, right? So if that's your desire, go for it. Open your mind to what it's all right to have or to want. So long as what you want, or I like the word desire better because the word want can mean lack. So what you require and what you desire, know that it truly is yours by right of consciousness if you can get your consciousness to that place. And again, how do we get our consciousness to that place? Journaling, meditation, prayer, opening ourselves, working on ourselves to know that we deserve it. Does anybody here deserve diamond earrings if they want it? Hands up. Does anybody here deserve a new vehicle if they really want one? Anybody deserve a loving relationship if that's what they want? Yeah, you get it. It's yours by right of consciousness when you get your consciousness to that place. By speaking in the yea, yea to all that's good, and nay, nay, quiet voice to that which you don't want. And by the way, when Donna was doing the bowls for the meditation this morning, she carefully didn't use them when I was using negative examples. She only sounded the bowls for positive words. So she's quite a spiritual leader, hidden behind her music and her bowls and her quiet demeanor. A beautiful consciousness. So what is my desire for us all today? Is for us to take seriously the question of who am I? And know that who you are is consciousness. A consciousness that might be composed of all kinds of good and negative things. But a consciousness that you can consciously make a difference in. And when you do some spiritual work on this, keep that image in mind, or maybe even pour a vase full of crystal clear water and maybe use it as a point to meditate on and mentally strip off all the gunk, whether you need to use metal polish or soap and water or bleach or whatever it is to create that crystal clear vase of sparkling purity and sparkling well-being that is the normal state of consciousness for every beautiful soul. And every being in this room is a beautiful soul. It's time to experience yourself as that. It's time to let yourself be what you are created to be, a blessing to the world. Thank you, Donna and Edith and Ursula and whoever else was up there. Yes, everybody who sang that perfect song to let us know, and you don't brush it off. Go home today after some nice food that we'll share, but go home knowing that you are a blessing to the world, that you are the child that the Father is well pleased in, that God is well pleased that you are expressing the beauty and the wonder and the joy and the love and the laughter that is the essence of godliness, that is the essence of beauty and perfection, that is the essence of every beautiful spirit of which you are one. So, knowing that each of us makes that difference, that each of us makes a difference to our own consciousness. You don't go shine somebody else's silver, you shine your own. You clean up your own consciousness because only you can truly do it. And so with that, let's just think of those words again. You are a blessing to this world. I am a blessing to this world. I let myself be that blessing. I let myself be a blessing to myself. I let myself shine. I let my consciousness, shiny and fresh and renewed, shine forth as the light that I was created to be. Because I am sent me into the world to be my own beautiful I am, and so it is.